everybody, Chris here from Flying Star Astrology, and today we're going to be talking about Xbox versus PlayStation. I heard that Microsoft announced that they're going to be releasing their newest version of Xbox in 2020, and initially they called it Project Scarlet, but I guess they released an initial product so that people could review it. Some of these tech people could review it and start talking about it. And so I wanted to kind of compare the Xbox versus PlayStation. And as I was looking through the numbers, I was surprised to find that PlayStation over time has actually outsold Xbox, and by some predictions almost 2-to-1. And the reason the number isn't known exactly is because Microsoft has never released how many Xbox games that it has sold, while PlayStation has. So the numbers that are available are based upon retail sales from different outlets over time. So as I was looking at these two companies or these two products, I wanted to take a look at the companies, because in Flying Star Feng Shui you have birthdays for companies. Companies actually have birthdays, which are the days that they were incorporated, or the day that they were founded. Just like you and I, the day you were born, that's your birthday. And they also have power numbers, just like people. And those power numbers have directions for success, health, relationships, and wisdom, just like you do as a person. So in looking at these two companies, Microsoft versus Sony, what I found was that they're both part of the same group of people. In Flying Stars, you have two groups of people. One is called the East Group, and most of their directions are within the East, so it's going to be North, South, East, Southeast. Those are considered the East Group people. And then you have West Group people, and those people have directions that are West, Northwest, Southwest, and Northeast. Those are the West Group people. Microsoft and Sony are both West Group companies, and their industry happens to be a West Group industry. So that's really fortunate, because it makes the energy flow better for those companies. I don't know if they knew that when they set themselves up, or if it's just coincidence, but it's a good coincidence because of the line of business that they're in. If you're looking at setting up a company for yourself, you want to be in alignment, if you can, with the group that you're in. So if you're a West Group company, you want to be have a West Group power number. And there's a whole big long explanation I could give you about what company falls into which category. But for now, just know that there's East Group and West Group. Microsoft and Sony are both West Group type companies because of the industries they're in, and they both have West Group power numbers. So that's good. That's good for them. So Microsoft actually has, I'm going to come to this in a second. Let's go over Microsoft and Sony real quick. So the wisdom direction, which is where these companies get their ideas, right? So the wisdom direction for Microsoft is in the Northeast. Well, the Northeast is all about books, traditional ways of learning, information that's passed down from teacher to student. It's not so much creative energy. It's more of like a lecture type based or book based, or how has it been done in the past and what can we do to build upon that going forward. That's the wisdom direction for Microsoft. For Sony, it's the Northwest. Well, the Northwest is being divinely inspired. So that means you're more likely to get like aha moments or downloads of information, what I call like messages from God. I think there was a book written called Messages from God. That's the kind of idea, energy that sits on Sony. So this is going to be more about, it's more worldly, more global, more universal, thinking about what people want. This is going to be more, what have we done in the past, and how can we build on that going forward? And there's a point to this. That's why I'm telling you this. Their success direction for Microsoft is all about partnerships. And for Sony, it's about creativity and technology. So their success is going to be coming mainly from their ideas and the technology that they create as a result of those ideas. For Microsoft, it's going to be more about the partnerships that they set up with their company. That's going to help them be successful. For Microsoft, their relationships is in the direction is the West. So this is going to be about their clients and the people who buy their products. It's all related to creativity, the mouth, children, talking a lot, using your words a lot in your relationships with people. With Sony, it's more about partnerships. This is also the direction of motherhood. And so they're sort of like the mother of gaming, even though I don't know if they started the PlayStation before Xbox got in the game. I should have looked that up. You guys may know better than me. But anyway, it's kind of like setting them up as the mother of whatever they decide to do. Like they're sort of the founder. They're the ones who initiated it. Even if they didn't initiate whatever the product is, they're sort of going to be seen as the grounded company to make the product and sort of like the foundation that other people want to emulate because of the way they do things. That's just the energy. It doesn't mean that everything they do is going to be that way. It means that's the energy that they're working with to help propel them forward. So the reason I talk about this is that when Microsoft first started, their initial success came through their partnerships. They, they were trying to get into the computer industry. This is before computers were really a thing, right? Only a few select companies had computers. So they partnered with IBM and they partnered with Apple to get going. That propelled them forward. They've gotten away from this, and that could be why the Xbox is not doing as well as PlayStation, because they didn't partner with anybody to come up with Xbox. This is something that they did in-house on their own. So this company, because of its energy, will always do best when it partners with somebody. And so that's kind of interesting to know. If you have a company of your own, if you know what's going to be the driver of your success, you can look to that to help you be more successful going forward. So if you have a company that's on the creative end of the spectrum, this may be your direction. So partnering with somebody may be good for you. It all depends upon when your company was created. But also, in looking at these two products, Xbox versus PlayStation, one of the things that I kept reading over and over and over again is that the reason that gamers like the PlayStation better than Xbox is that it's a faster product. Like the gaming speed is faster, which is important when you're a gamer, because you want to get the hits off as soon as you can. You don't want to be, having to deal with computer delays and things like that, or a slow game, that kind of thing from the processing system. It was cheaper than Xbox. And then when Xbox came out with the Kinect, where it kind of monitored everything you thought, said, and did, and was tracking all of that information, that was a real turnoff for people. The other thing was that there was no downtime really with the PlayStation because of the way the components were created, whereas that wasn't guaranteed with the Xbox. I don't think it was guaranteed with the PlayStation either, but what gamers found was that this was more reliable in terms of being able to access their games on a continuous basis, especially if they were connected to the internet once that side of gaming took off, once the online gaming took off. So when Microsoft was trying to promote its product over the PlayStation, one of the things that it kept doing is talking about all the technical aspects that were better, bigger, faster, or whatever than the PlayStation. So they kept talking about the components and what the future of Microsoft was, and how the box was better and had all these different pieces to it that were so wonderful. And the gamers didn't want to hear that. The gamers wanted to hear about creativity. They wanted to hear about having instant access. They wanted to talk about the games, and these guys didn't want to talk about the games. They wanted to talk about the components. So they talk too much about the technical stuff and not enough about the creative stuff. So the new products that they're coming out with, the new Xbox, which they're calling, I believe, Xbox Series X for now. I don't think they have a name for it. And then PlayStation 5. Both of these are supposed to come out in 2020. And next year, Microsoft is going to have the Relationship Star on its success direction. It's going to have the Fame Star on its relationship direction, and the Wisdom Star on its, or the New Beginning Star on its wisdom direction. All of this is really good for sales. You know, the people who've been buying the Xbox are probably going to buy a new one just because they like that platform. That's, you know, that's human nature. If you like something, you really don't want to change it, right? And then the people who have had a relationship with them are just going to be drawn more to buy the product. That's what that Fame is. And they can draw additional people to buy the product, but it's more likely that their existing clients will continue to buy the product and will upgrade from Xbox One to the new Series X version. For PlayStation, they have the Fame Star in their success direction, which tells me they'll probably outsell Xbox again. Like, they'll be in the limelight for their product more so than Xbox. And their relationship direction has the Relationship Star in it. So they're going to be able to connect with gamers more easily than Microsoft, just because of the nature of the energy sitting there. It doesn't mean Microsoft can't connect with gamers. They absolutely can. Just going to be easier for Sony to do that with the PlayStation 5, especially with new gamers. It's going to be easier for them to get new clients for their product than it will for Microsoft. And then their wisdom direction has the star of like long-term thinking, long-term, like seeing things for the long term. So that sort of tells me that their vision for the PlayStation is going to help them over the long term, whereas the Xbox is always thinking about something new. Microsoft is always thinking about, you know, what do we do next to bring in people, whereas these people have more of a long-term plan. So it's kind of like, let's say that you want to take a trip, and you decide that you want to go to California, and you decide, let's say you're in Florida, you plan your trip out, however many days it takes, 4 or 5 days it takes to get there, and you plan where you're going to stop at each point, right? And then, you know, you follow that plan, and then you end up in California on day 5. That's Sony. They're planning out their steps for the future to get where they want to go. Their plan isn't right now. It's where do I want to be 5 years from now? How are we going to get there? With Microsoft, it's not that they don't have a plan, but it's more likely that they say, well, we want to go to California too, and we're also in Florida, and we're just going to start here and see where we get, and then we'll get to California eventually. But we don't know where we're going to stop along the way. We're just going to kind of feel our way through and see if something new and interesting comes along. So that, you know, that's a lot more fun for sure, because it's not so, oh my God, this is our agenda, we're doing it for 5 days in a row. But there's something to be said for having a long-term vision. The other thing I wanted to say about this is that because of the relationship direction that Microsoft has and the one that Sony has, the Microsoft clients, the Microsoft gamers are more likely to be saying, what's next, what's new, what can you show me next? You know, it's kind of like a kid with a toy at Christmas. They open it, maybe it's something they really wanted, they play with it for 10 minutes, and then they're like, okay, what's next? You know, I'm bored with this, I want the next thing. That's going to be the energy of the clients that they draw for Xbox. For Sony, for the PlayStation, they have more of a grounded relationship with their clients. It's going to be more of a partnership with their clients. The gamers are going to feel like Sony listens to them more, kind of like a parent. Like if you tell your mom something, she's going to listen better than if you went to your neighbor's house and told them, right? So that's going to be the energy that the clients that Sony draws to PlayStation. They're going to feel more loyal, and they're going to feel more tied to Sony and its PlayStation product. So I don't know, I think that's fascinating, but that's just the geek in me. I like looking at these numbers, I like looking at companies, I like looking at people. So anyway, if you like this video, hit the like button and go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you click on the bell, you'll be notified every time I post a new video. And if you have any comments or questions, post them down below and I'll be happy to answer those for you. And then last but not least, I want to tell you about the Flying Star Outlook for 2020. So we talked about the stars for 2020 for PlayStation and for Xbox. And there are flying stars that come every year. This year they show up January 25th, 2020. And my Outlook talks about the stars, what opportunities exist with those stars, how to work with those stars using Feng Shui to activate the better stars. And then I also have some bonus ideas and tips in here. And then there's a second report where I talk about your personal outlook for 2020, and this is based upon your power number. Your power number is based upon your birthday, and I have a chart that shows all of the birthdays, all of the power numbers, and all of the opportunities and that come up for 2020, in addition to all of the best months that lie ahead for you, for your career, for your health, for your relationships, and for decision making. So if you'd like to order a copy of that, just go to my website, flyingstarastrology.com, and you can order it right there. And I will see you guys soon. Thanks, bye.